Hello everyone, this is Alan Whitford speaking to you. Today in our Recruitment Thought Leader Conversation series, we're with Roisin Corrigan, the Regional Sales Manager for Taleo Business Edition. Hi Roisin, how are you today?
I'm good, Alan. How are you?
Doing great. Roisin, you're going to be joining us next week as a sponsor of the Social Recruiting Conference 2010 in London, which is fantastic. Looking forward to seeing you there again. Why don't you explain a little bit about who you are and what it is that you actually do?
Okay, yeah, sure. So, as you said, Roisin Corrigan, I'm the Regional Sales Manager for Taleo Business Edition, and I look after Taleo Business Edition for the whole of EMEA. So for Europe, Middle East and Africa, I'm responsible for all of the pre-sales for Taleo Business Edition. So anybody who's interested in the product and wants to have a conversation about what it is that we do here at Taleo, I would be first point of contact for them, and then I would take them through the entire pre-sales process right to the point where they become a customer of Taleo itself. So I do everything involved in the pre-sales for them.
All right, now a lot of people may have heard of Taleo and see it as this giant sort of enterprise system. What's different about Business Edition?
Okay, so yeah, Taleo does two products, one of which is our Enterprise Edition, where here in EMEA, that's for any organisations with over 3,000 employees. But about 5 years ago, Taleo recognised a need in the market for a system specifically for the SMB market. And here in EMEA, we define the SMB market as anything up to 3,000 employees. So Taleo Business Edition was very much specifically built by recruiters for recruiters. So it's any organisation in that space. Taleo Business Edition was specifically built from the ground up for that size of organisation. I think it's important for people to know we didn't take the Enterprise Edition, take out some of the key features and functionalities, make a cheaper version and sell that on. What we did was specifically build a product for that marketplace.
Right. Okay. It's fantastic. So, and this is, we are talking candidate management system, applicant tracking system, how we manage the recruitment flow, correct?
Exactly, yeah. So everything from creating a position within an organization, getting that out to all your different sources on the web, having your candidates apply, and then managing that entire candidate experience right from a candidate right through to becoming an employee within the organization. We do a number of other modules which link into the recruitment system. So we do onboarding, we do performance management, we do compensation modules. But definitely the recruitment is probably the first one and definitely the most popular of those.
Well, what makes you different than some of the others? Because there's no shortage of suppliers in this marketplace, in the corporate marketplace, and certainly if we looked at the recruitment agency marketplace. But fortunately, we don't have to go there at the moment. But in the corporate, why is what you guys do different than some of the others?
I mean, one of the things which I think definitely sets us, apart from the rest of the people out there is definitely the technology that we use. So, the configurability of the product itself, how easy it is for any of our customers to come in, customize the product to do specifically what they needed to do to support their processes. I think also the amount of R&D investment that we put into the product. So every 7 to 8 weeks, we're doing, some increase of an upgrade in functionality in the product. We're also spending, every 3 to 4 months we have major upgrades to the products. We give those free of charge to all of our existing customers, and it also means for our customers, they're constantly getting new technology introduced to the platform. They're never working with a stale product, and also I think the fact that Taleo built the platform from the ground up, versus some of our competitors out there have probably added in or bought modules and kind of bolted them onto existing ones. We've built it from the ground up, and I think very much now when you look at industries are starting to look very much around what we call talent intelligence, and when you're linking your recruitment process to performance management process to your onboarding process, having that technology that's all built on the same platform definitely supports that whole talent intelligence that organizations are looking at the moment. If you wanted to look at it very much from a Web 2.0 or social networking point of view, one of the things that Taleo has done differently, like I know some of our competitors out there have, they have user groups and they have forums and stuff. But one of the things that Taleo did specifically is they actually went out and invested in the technology that's like a social, it's like a collaboration tool which is specifically for Taleo customers, so they can interact online, and it's called the Taleo Knowledge Exchange. And it's a social platform that allows all of the Taleo customers to interact real-time online. There's different groups on there depending on the type of technology that you're using, the different platforms, whether you're in EMEA, the different products that you're using. And it helps all of our customers, interact with each other. They can share best practices. They can talk to different experts in their industry about what they're doing, how they're using the technology, and it doesn't have to be technology specific. They may have a conversation on there about, what's happening in their industry, the processes, and then maybe linking into how they're using the Taleo technology to support those processes itself.
Well, that does sound quite unique. I've spent a lot of my life with technology vendors where we've set up user groups or, forums or whatever it might be, and many times it's difficult to get companies to actually talk to each other. They're afraid of sharing, afraid of trade secrets. But if you're encouraging this with your knowledge exchange and with your collaboration tools, I think that's fantastic to get your customers talking to each other.
Yeah, and it's great for them. They can speak to Taleo experts on there as well. So if they want to find out something about the product, they can speak to people on there. And it's just really nice because it's like it's pure social interaction, so they get a similar type of experience as they would do if they were using LinkedIn and Facebook. The fact that there's the different groups on there and stuff, and I think it's they can build relationships with each other to kind of support each other.
And also it's very brave for an organization, I always think, when they bring together user groups however they're constructed, because it's very easy for them to turn into a moaning session.
Exactly.
And I'm sure we've all been there, but I think this is fantastic, and it allows you to be reacting to people in real time as well.
Exactly, and I don't think Taleo would be as successful as they are if they weren't willing to listen to what our customers have to say. We have a huge renewal rate year on year with all of our customers, and I think that's testament to how much we do listen to our customers. We listen to what they have to say, and we definitely take that on board and introduce it into the technology for them.
Well, and what I've always liked about Taleo is that the focus on research and industry white papers, people like Alice Snell and people like that are really recognized as industry thought leaders, you make available on such a regular basis to both customers and non-customers alike. You run series of webinars and participating in events like next week. I think it's something a lot of vendors could learn from, which is how you're going to share the knowledge that you have and that you've built up over years.
Exactly, and just like you said there, you don't even need to be a customer. Anybody can go to the Taleo.com website. I speak to some, consulting companies and stuff, and they'll go there on a regular basis just to try and understand what's happening in the industry, where is it going, because we do so much research, and we make it available out there on the web to anybody who wishes to access it.
Where do you see the industry going now, Roisin? I've been on the soapbox for 10 or 12 years saying we should all have one of these, and some days I wonder why I'm still saying that. But do you feel that there is more of a take-up now, that companies are more and more realizing with the direct sourcing models and with social media that they have to have the tools in place to actually manage those relationships? Are you seeing an improvement there?
Definitely. I mean, we have a regular income of people contact us trying to find out about the product itself, what's happening, where are we taking the product, and there's definitely been a huge increase in questions during those initial conversations with people around interaction with the do we interact with LinkedIn, do we interact with Facebook, what is our Web 2.0, how are we working with that technology with the Taleo Business Edition platform. And I mean, one of the things that I've noticed specifically, and I think that, is going to definitely change over the next kind of 12, 18, 24 months, is, not just from a business perspective, but also from a candidate perspective. The candidates are moving away from that kind of paper-based CV profile. If you look at that 17 to 25-year-old age group, which is going to be our next group of graduates coming out into the workforce looking for positions, these people are very much used to using the likes of Facebook, LinkedIn, whether it be, Bebo when they're younger, but they're real Web 2.0 people. They interact on the web, they use these social networking tools all the time. And I think, because of that, they're now building their own web profiles. So we're going to see a move away from paper-based profiles to just using web-based profiles. And it's one of the things that we already support within, Taleo Business Edition, where, if somebody has a LinkedIn profile and they come to apply for a position, with an organization that's using Taleo, they can actually go to the, when they're applying online, they can just go to their LinkedIn profile. They can inhale their details from their LinkedIn profile, have that populate their application form. So I think that's definitely going to be something that we're going to see to continue, is that move away from paper-based CVs to candidates using more kind of web-based profiles. I think, organizations are all using LinkedIn, to go out there and source candidates and find candidates, but they're also now starting to use it as a real reference tool. So they're looking at people's profiles on LinkedIn to see what their previous experience. But I think one of the other biggest things is that organizations are realizing that the information that they're taking as part of their recruitment process, that, that's really, really relevant and useful for lots of other processes within the business. So when you move to doing performance reviews or succession planning, and it's not just for recruiters but hiring managers down the line, when they're trying to find people within the organizations with relevant skills and experience, they don't want to see just what these people have done within their own organization. They want to be able to tap into all of the information they gathered during the recruitment process, because that's going to let them know that person's entire experience in the workforce, not just their experience within that business. So I think a definite increase in kind of understanding that what you take in the recruitment process is also relevant to, your business outside of just the recruitment process itself.
I think that's a terrific point. And so many organizations that have had an ATS have got what could be construed a talent pool, or even in my terminology, a talent puddle, but the internal employees never look. And they don't actually look at what those skill bases are, and somehow there's this great wall between the data in the ATS and the data in the HR system. And I think you're right, the current generation that's coming out, for them Web 2.0 is engagement, it's communication, it's conversation. It's not about the pretty pictures or the white background or green background or whatever. It's about engagement and communication. And I think you're right, you've evolved those tools. That's going to be the important next step for hiring managers as well as HR people.
Exactly. Yeah. They want, organizations have to do an awful lot more with an awful lot less. So it's like, they want to tap into that technology and use that to deliver the best they can deliver. And, using that kind of seamless platform and having that, all that information about your employees at your fingertips is, going to be very, very important.
I agree, and I think that's a great way to finish. It's using that information. Roisin, it's been fantastic having you with us here today. We're going to see you next Tuesday in London, and hopefully we're not having too much snow, so you will be able to fly in. And how can people find you? What's the best way to find Roisin Corrigan and the Taleo Business Edition?
Yeah, absolutely. You can email me directly at Corrigan or go on to LinkedIn and search for me on LinkedIn, and feel free to connect to me directly. Or if you go onto the Taleo.com website and contact the London office, they can put you in touch with me directly also.
Fantastic. Well, I wish you have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks. All right.